All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol NIO, NIO Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back. And before we go ahead and jump into this chart, I want to announce to all viewers and investors, I'm going to put the link down below in the description. My website, I actually launched it. It went live yesterday. And as of right now, for all of you guys that have joined and become members, thank you guys for joining. It is optional. There is a video in the homepage for you to go ahead and see what it's all about. You can click on the Explore button and see the different member options. But there's going to be a lot of information on stock picks, also on other areas of investing and finance. So I look forward for all of you that join. And in 2 weeks from now is when I will start to post content. So I look forward to seeing those of you that join once again, and it's optional. And I would like to see your guys' comments down below on what you think about it if you have time, or you can comment in the forum section. Thank you guys. So here we are with NIO. NIO Inc. has had a slight recovery. This is the first strongest recovery we've seen. I mean, this hit lows here of about $39. This is starting to look like what I was talking about. But again, it was pretty volatile compared to what I was expecting. So I had stated that all of this here has been a pretty wild up gain, right? Before this bullish trajectory, NIO would do consolidation periods. Obviously, the volatility of the market up and down, but it would do a period of consolidation and then go up to the next level. Okay, that happened here with NIO during these times. This has been the wildest run, but there was no consolidation. It continued running, it fell, it continued running, and now it fell sharply. I mean, it fell all the way down to these lows here of $39 from these highs of $58. Now, I know that a lot of people have price targets well above $100, $150, $200. A lot of people are feeling bullish and believe in those numbers. I don't doubt them, but I don't think we're going to see those numbers anytime soon. To be realistic, I could see anything between $60 to $100, but I believe closer to the lower end of $60 due to the fact that there has to be a catalyst this month to maintain it in the upward direction, right? To continue this run, hold itself up somewhere around the $40 and $50 mark, so that once NIO Day comes on towards January, this could actually continue a catalyst and run. And then the next earnings, and then all that fun, exciting stuff to maintain this stock afloat for next year, the beginning half of next year. But right now, it's been pretty volatile. Now, let me go ahead and remove some of these lines here like I was stating. This whole section here was pretty volatile, and some profit taking and uncertainty could have happened. Now, this went from profit taking in this area to uncertainty and fear. We've talked about it in the other videos due to the fact that Chinese companies are being pressured to comply and get audited, and if they don't comply, they could have the opportunity of getting delisted. Now, I want every single investor to be aware that delisting isn't something that's going to happen right away. Now, I know that also Candy, which is another EV company in China, has kind of put a little stereotype now out there on other EVs. And there's a little bit of uncertainty with that as well due to the fact that they're being accused. It's still not confirmed. I believe I haven't read any articles that it's confirmed. Being accused of fraud, right? Or they're inflating their numbers, which if Candy has a great way to go ahead and say, hey, this isn't really happening, I apologize that it seemed that way, it might help them. But if they can't do that, that's going to affect this sector overall just a little bit more than it already has. Now, I believe that as this was going down, it was going to sit around that $40 mark and actually re-meet with this area here. I've drawn it in my previous videos. If you haven't seen it before, I want to explain it. This circle here, I know it's kind of confusing. There's a lot of circles here. I want to actually remove some of these so there's no confusing. So This circle here, this big one, is showing all the volatility and craziness that NIO had, and it just continued to work its way up, which is not how NIO usually reacts. There was a lot of speculation and hype going on here. In this pullback, though, there was uncertainty and some profit taking, and then fear. If the whole compliance thing and the House of Representatives passes it, or they already did, and so forth, because I haven't followed up on that news, does go through, NIO isn't going to get affected directly right now, because the one that's feeling the pressure is Candy, because Candy fabricated and so forth. NIO is a legitimate company. And if NIO isn't legitimate, let's just say the other side of the coin, let's look at everything from both ends. We don't know, right? There's nobody accusing them, and then there's nobody knowing if there is or not. But I believe that NIO, so far, if they're expanding and the numbers they're showing and their product is actually reasonable and actually innovative, and they also have a supercar, and they got all these different things, and they're doing not just cars, but they're also doing electric, powering plants and like all these different innovations. I mean, they're more than just a car company, but their main focus is cars. They're almost like the Tesla of China, like people like to say it. But NIO is actually legit. Candy is having some rockiness. We don't know yet until things are confirmed. It's just accusations, but it kind of makes the whole sector rocky. If NIO was the same situation as Candy and no one's aware of it just yet, NIO has 3 years to comply, unless somebody like Hindenburg Research or somebody jumps on them and posting articles on saying, hey, we're accusing you. You need to prove this. But if nobody jumps on them like that and they can't comply in 3 years about all the other policies to stay listed here, they'll get delisted in 3 years. So this still has room to run, right? If the speculation and hope continues. But back to this. All this was going on, and then I do this drawing right here. This second circle here, which I want to remove the other one, is where I stated, okay, this is probably going, let's narrow this down so it can make more sense. It's probably going to end up back below where this left off, right? This area before all of this uncertainty right here. I hope you guys are catching the drift. I'm drawing a lot of lines and I don't want people to get confused, but this right here is not how NIO usually reacts. Why? Because it would consolidate and then run. Consolidate and then run. So I stated it might drop back around this area, meet back with this, and then kind of almost like if you were to delete all of this and bring it back and reconnect this point with this point and kind of do a sideways movement until the next spike. That's what I was trying to say by what was going to happen. And if we saw that happen, there was hope here for NIO to then work its way up towards the $60 mark in the near future. And kind of all of this volatility needs to slow down. And now it has to kind of consolidate here. So all of this, if you were to delete it and kind of connect this line or this last point here after this run to where we're at right now, and then this sideways movement, at some point it would finish, consolidate it that period, and then run up again like we've seen in the previous run-ups as it consolidated. Now this is probably one of the longest and largest runs up from those consolidations. We need to watch NIO closely, but if it does this, it's going to continue the healthy run. The only thing I'm not liking about how NIO is looking right now is that yes, it ended back up in this area that I stated. It's holding itself up, but again, we're back with the volatility. I mean, like, that's such a sharp down and a sharp up, and now it's going back down. Like, it's going everywhere. That's not how NIO typically was working for almost 6 months. You could see a healthy run in NIO's graph over time. That's what we need NIO to do again. This has been way too volatile and a little bit filled with speculation, uncertainty, and fear. And then also, this is no good, no bueno for the fact that this needs to continue to run. if it wants to continue to grow and be the legitimate company that it has been to this point. Because this is stopping and doing a cap from the growth that NIO can continue to go on. Now, these things are bound to happen. I mean, these pullbacks have to happen, but not these jumps. This is way too much for NIO, my personal opinion. That's not how NIO was reacting. It came back to the same area, like I stated. If it holds itself up in this area, and if you were to reconnect this point with this one, and it just moves sideways from this point forward, and then continues to jump, this is going to hit newer highs. I hope that made sense. For those of you that felt confused, please comment down below. And for those of you that understood, please agree with me on what I'm trying to say just by saying I understood. And if you didn't, you don't have to agree with me. I'm not saying that. I just need, for those of you that understood, if anybody didn't understand, kind of explain. But what I'm trying to say is this was pretty wild stuff here. A lot of volatility. And that's not how the chart usually would react. And this was the wildest run. And we kind of ended back up in the same area. That's what I had stated. It would kind of like re-levelize and now kind of do a consolidation period before it runs up again. That's what I was trying to say. Kind of summarizing everything I just said. But let's look at this. It broke through resistance. It hit newer lows. The lowest point in the bearish trajectory was 39.82. And our new resistance level and our new support levels, we want to look at them real quick here. This is going to be a very narrow and tight stretch. If it breaks through this point down here, 39.82, this will start to see newer lows. But right now, we're hanging out at 46.49. So our resistance level is 47.98. And our 50-day moving average is 46.79. I'd write that down. As long as we're below that, we're in bearish territory. The moment we're above that, we're in bullish territory. For the bulls to actually get back into bullish territory, yes, they need to break through the 50-day moving average. But to work higher into bullish territory and pull away from the 50-day moving average in an upward direction, they need to turn 47.98 into a support, pull away from it, and reach newer highs. On the other hand, we have what the bears want. And if the bears continue to bring this one down, this could be on its way to newer lows. We're already in bearish territory, and this support level is 46.09. If 46.09 gets broken through, this will start to see newer lows and start to get deeper into bearish territory. We're going to have to watch because the tug of war is going on. It's going to be interesting tomorrow to see if the bulls pull this back up or are the bears tearing this one down fairly quickly. That would also show how volatile, again, NIO is acting, which is out of the ordinary for how it reacted for the last 6 months. So we need to watch this closely. And again, this resistance needs to be broken through by the bulls. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community. And don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.